Hello, Joe. Happy Monday.
Oh, isn't it?
It
It's a
is. It
glorious
is.
Monday. It's a
It's a
glorious Monday.
glorious Monday. It is the morning after, well, actually, the 1 a.m. It is 11 hours after the forces of good and the common man overcame the Wonderland ARB whales with a 10% margin on the vote. Although, strangely enough, when I went to bed, the margin was 20%. And when I woke up this morning, the margin was only 10%, although the voting closed at 1 and I tweeted about it at like 1:30 in the morning. So anyway,
Well, how did it finish up?
It was a
I haven't seen it yet.
crazy fucking weekend, man. This guy, Danielle is just losing his mind. I mean, he's just, and I get it. Like, he pops into the fucking, why am I so fucking red? He pops into the fucking Discord, and like half of the group is, oh, Daniel, we love you, Daniel, you are the best thing ever, it's okay, please hurt me more, I'm only down 90%, we have more to go. And then the other half are, you scheming fucking scamming fucking crook,
I'm hunting you down, bitch.
I don't even know why he fucking comes in to talk. I mean, I think he's like trying to prove that he's here for everybody and he's the man of the people, blah, blah, keeping his populist thing going. But by the end, like this morning, he was in there and like the message started out as, we're trying to do this, we're going to get the money back, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's going to make their money, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, fuck them, remove them, kill this fudge shit. We need a private group for real believers, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was
really
total fucking meltdown. Like, he needs to stay the fuck out of the community and just, So,
or they'll vote him out.
I can't even remember where we were on Friday.
We were like at, I think the liquidation vote was like 59-40 or something that at that point. Yeah.
Well, the no's fucking rallied, man. The whales came in with their big votes. And I got to tell you, these people were fucking relentless. I did a video about why I voted no. And my entire motivation is I don't want the $700 million in value there to be decided emotionally over a 48-hour period. I want to know what's possible. And the other reason is I want to eliminate the ARB whales from their buyback. Fuck them, right? It's like, look, they went in, that's a risk for them. I did have somebody say on Twitter, well, what about the people who maybe dumped and then bought back in the next day because they panicked and then they bought back in? And I said, you know what? That's just part of this fucking game. You made an emotional decision to dump. You bought back in. You don't get the fruits of that. You didn't hang. Everybody else that hung with the project through all this shit to see what's going to happen, these whales should not be allowed to dilute the payout for people that have held longer and through all this shit, right? So fuck that. If they want to arb it. Like, if you were the first whale to buy at 18 and all the other idiots came in and got you to 25, well, take your fucking profit and go. Like, So those were my two motivations. Because ultimately what it comes down to right now is they've posted up a new Wonderland 2.0. So anyway, I guess it was on Friday or over the weekend. It's all a fucking blur. I spent way too much of my life in this project right now. Danielle,
now we know what you've been doing.
Danielle posted that he posted basically a tweet thread. Let me get that up. A tweet thread saying that he's going to dissolve it anyway, essentially is what it looked like, right? And the fucking place went fucking nuts. Like, just...
I can imagine.
Just like freaking people losing their minds. So let me pull up that Twitter feed because I don't know if it's that he claims he doesn't know how to communicate well so that he can cover up for saying stupid shit, or if he just doesn't know how to articulate what the fuck he means. Because he posted a tweet thread basically saying, I'm coming up with a way that the people that want to stay can be a part of a new Wonderland 2.0, but the people that want to go can be bought out, right? Which sounds lovely, but basically what he was saying was, I'm going to ignore the will of the vote, right? Whatever the outcomes are, I don't give a shit because I'm going to do this. And it's like, well, dude, you're,
Say goodbye to everything else too at this point. Then,
that was my point, right?
Yeah.
So, kind of in response to that, I said, first, you need to clarify it. And then he said something about, I know what he said was, the vote is 50-50. It's obvious that the community split. And I'm like, the community split because you split them. You created this wedge, this thing in the middle of them that didn't have to exist. So you're the one that created this shit, right? And then I said, this isn't a vote about continuing. It's a vote about stopping and taking the time to make a decision about a $700 million properly instead of this piece of shit proposal you guys put forward. If you override this vote, you are done in DeFi. All of your projects are. Trust destroyed. And, everybody was saying similar things to him. So he kind of backed off. Today, they put out their Wonderland 2.0 proposal. Basically saying it's going to, those of you that want out can leave. Those that you want to stay cannot. They're going to move the funds in, hire a mix of treasury management people to invest the funds. It's going to be basically a VC or hedge fund mix thing, kind of hybrid. They structured out how they're going to pay out the tokens for the betting site that they invested into. Nothing in it sounds unreasonable, right? But they're probably not addressing my other big concern, which was these ARB whales getting to get the buyback. But whatever. I mean, right now, if I will tell you personally, if Danielle is in charge of anything rather than just kind of guiding and advising, then I'm going to take the buyback, whatever it looks like, right? Because I don't think his judgment is great right now. I think he's a really brilliant guy. I think he has great ideas. I just think he's just not on his game right now. And, I'm not going to trust
he's
him.
He's reeling and he's getting defensive.
Yep.
And
now,
that's just youth.
It looked like the structure of this thing was that they are going to have, independent DAO, independent people running it and controlling it, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't know, there's nothing along, what their thesis is for investments or anything else. But anyway, you know what? I was glad to see the little guys overcome the big guys. That was fun. That was really interesting and kind of fun to watch. And I would poke into the Discord every hour or so and see everybody going, come on, vote no, and evidently people were rallying other wallets in, and it worked out nice. It's probably not going to be worth anything except that it made Danielle realize that he doesn't get to just put out his decrees and the whole world's going to do whatever he wants, right? It was like, wait a minute, you said one thing, but we're doing another. So that was really interesting to me, that a majority of these people, the level of worship of this guy, of some of these people, is like off the charts, like just off the charts. So
yeah, there's all these like cultish groups running around these days, and in crypto, but also in the real world too.
Yeah,
that people just believe. They have these deity leaders. It's a friggin' joke. Doesn't everybody realize that these people are all taking them to the fucking cleaners? This is why I talk about individual liberty and being accountable for your own activities, and don't trust in these false gods. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Well, it's very interesting too that he and Sifu did those loans. They went leverage on 20 million and 15 million each of their WMMO. So they leveraged it. Then they took the MIM out, put it on an exchange, traded it out for USDT, and then lo and behold, cascading liquidations and no buybacks to sustain the price, right? And they're sitting on 15 million and 20 million. So there's a lot of people building out conspiracy plots around that. Look, I don't have problem with anybody. I mean, it's smart to borrow against it, so you still have the tokens, but still have the money to live on if you want to live on it. But I'm trying not to ascribe malicious intent, right? I'm trying not to say this was theft or they made their money and fuck you. I think he wants everyone to make money, right? But at the end of the day, not everybody's going to make money on a project. Somebody's going to lose.
It's called business.
It's the way it fucking works. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to reread the proposal. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to think about it. Like I said, my decision is going to be based on the level of involvement by Danielle, at least in the short term. So, yeah, Chuck, never ascribe to malice that which can be explained by stupidity. You are so correct, sir. It is absolutely always the case. But listen, the cool thing is the community voiced their opinions, and this was never really a real DAO in the first place. You looking at the cat?
Yeah, I was looking at his picture. That's great, man.
Oh, Chuck's picture.
Yeah, it's like him when he's like 20 or something.
I know. It looks like he's like 14.
Yeah, well, when you're one of the top 40 people in the founding of the internet, I guess that's what you were doing at that age.
So anyway, we move along. I'll kind of keep everybody up to date, but we've put a lot of time into this. I did a video about my reasons for voting no. You guys can check it out in the YouTube feed. But it's been a fascinating thing. I hate being down, but whatever. You just fucking take the money and put it into something better. So that's kind of where I am.
Well, you got to take the wins and the losses, and that's why you don't do your whole stack and anything, so you can live to play another day.
Exactly.
I tend to look at a lot. Look, this crisis management is hard, and when I think that Danielle is susceptible to like flattery. Yep. And those types of things. And I think that's how the Quadriga guy played him is the way I feel.
Right.
Guilted him, played him or something like that. I mean, I don't know. And a lot of people are introverted that are in the space, and, a lot of software developers are introverted. So, you start kind of going a little bit more toward, not being able to handle the fire hose of hostility coming at you.
Yeah.
It's hard for me too.
Well, it's hard. It's even harder when you've been worshiped.
Yeah.
Right. Because you think everyone loves you, right? You get into this mode of everyone tells you how wonderful and brilliant you are, and then suddenly you're not. Yeah. And that's hard. That's a very hard thing for the ego.
What he has to do in my mind at this point is just, play true to the DAO. Don't get greedy. You got all the other projects. Get this into the community. Go to the other ones and have your reputation intact, but don't do unilateral stuff and don't like dictate.
Yeah.
I think just like that, what was that Constitution DAO or whatever that messed up the bids on that copy of the Constitution, but then put the whole DAO out to the community anyhow, decentralized it all and return some money and stuff like that. I mean, to me, I think you have to be open and transparent. It's just a shitload of money. And, the devil within you is sitting there looking at that $700 million and going, what am I going to do next? It's like, it's hard. And so, but he's got to stay ethical and honest. I'm not saying he's not, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm saying
he's already got like $300-400 million anyway. So it's not like he's hurting.
Yeah. In ethics, it's funny. I think about a lot of behavior of people these days and, this sort of anything goes mentality. And, I remember when I was in, grad school, we talked a lot about ethics, and, you have to put the guardrails on yourself to know what's right, what's wrong. And, obviously if you have nothing, it's easier to break the rules, but if you got a lot, you need to kind of put the guardrails on and ethics wise and do the right thing.
Yeah.
I think he'll do it. I think he's just hurt by all of it around him, feels wounded, agree. And now he just needs to kind of, come back to his roots and, the community and, a little more mea culpa, a little more, how do we move this forward in a way that benefits everyone in the whole spirit of a DAO? That's what I would do.
Well, here's the ironic thing. At the end of the day, this model he's doing, the only difference between this model and the model he announced a couple of weeks ago, this SPAC thing, like getting out of the rebase game, the only difference is the buyback. That's and the value of the token today, right? That there is nothing different. He's getting exactly what he wanted from the beginning, which was to create like this SPAC model and be this massive investor in projects, which I actually think is a good idea if you have the right team to evaluate projects. Would I have picked a betting project out of the gate? I don't know. Great revenue, but I don't know enough about betting to know. But anyway, it was it's been an interesting ride.
Well, I don't know why he would be thinking SPAC, to be honest, because that gets you firmly into the U.S. capital markets game.
Yeah.
And regulatory oversight, just go in for your colonoscopy at this point because you're going to get reamed. But investing the money properly within the framework of decentralization, stuff we've talked a lot about, the end games for, say, like Olympus, and I thought Time Wonderland was going in that way too, based upon previous communications. But that's what you got to kind of do at this point. The rebase experiment was great. It was a money raising vehicle, and it was fun.
Yeah. It's how you get that $700 million treasury.
Yeah, now put it to work. And unfortunately, I don't know if I would hope that the Time and Memo and all those people, make out for it. I don't think you switch everything now and go do something different and leave people hanging. I think you gotta, dance with the one you brought at this point and not switch it up. So that's the way I would play it, or spin it all in the community and go work your other projects. You still got money, so nothing to worry about there. I just think it's kind of tough for them. Anything like that. Okay.
Look, you're just in a major panic all the time. It's brutal. So anyway.
Oh, amen. Yeah. Brad put a video out on his Twitter feed, I think.
Well, I haven't summarized what's happened since. I'll try to, Eamon, I'll try to do that later today. Got a lot going on though. But essentially, look, there was a vote. Basically, Danielle said he was going to basically ignore the vote because he saw the community divided. What he saw to me was the community actually about to overcome the advantage of the yes votes. And he was, that wasn't his plan. So there are people speculating that some of those whales may have a connection to the team. Who knows? I'm not saying there is. And then put this vote out, said he was going to dissolve it. The people voting went ahead and continued and voted no. And then this morning, they put out a Wonderland 2.0 proposal, which is basically shut down the current project. If you want to get bought out, you can. You have 168 hours. If you don't want to get bought out, you can keep tokens, and then you'll get airdropped. Spell, I think, was the ultimate. Anyway, I'll try to do a summary tweet at least later today, and maybe a video of what I think of the 2.0. But bottom line is, Danielle got what he wanted. He's basically going to, all the people that want out will be bought out. There'll be basically an investment vehicle for the treasury, what's left of the treasury. Everyone that has tokens will get the betting swap airdrop that they were supposed to get. And there were some other there were some other things within the proposal, things like independent team for investments, independent structure and team for oversight and management, multiple departments, and basic good, representative kind of democracy set up for a DAO. It looked decent, but I'll take a deeper dive and talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Yeah. So what else, Joe? What'd you do to make what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum at the moment?
I noticed it's been pumping since this morning.
Yeah.
It looks to me like ETH is up 3.5%. BTC's up, 1.65. But, I see ETH was at 25.50 at 8. It's at 26.88. I'm looking at the 3-minute charts right now. But, Monday morning buying on Wall Street, New York. This is East Coast buying. I don't see how you can hide it. But if you see at night too, it was steadily ticking up. from like 10 o'clock or maybe 12 o'clock last night to US East Coast time to about, 6-ish. So that tells me, some Asia buying too. A little bits going up, and then it picked up in the morning. I think everybody at this point, I had some good conversations over the weekend and today with some, high level economists.
The deep state.
Yeah, the ones that have the button.
Joe has all his buddies in the deep state.
No, I was nothing, no official stuff, but just these are people I've known for 30 years. I just wanted to get their opinion on a couple of things. And, because I was really most interested in, the Fed stuff about the, paring down the balance sheet.
Right.
When you start, selling off that 8.6 trillion, what happens? And, where does it go? Because I had some conversations on this a couple of years ago, and we were just started trying to do that. And, it's a very complicated conversation, but it revolves around, I think the equation, monetary policy equation is MV equals PQ, which is money supply times velocity of capital times equals price times GDP. So what we started talking about, when money supply goes up, velocity of capital is pretty much a constant. So the only other variable that goes up is price.
Right.
So, we took all this stimulus spending going in, it tends to push pricing up, which gets you that inflation feeling. So what I was concerned about is what happens when you start moving those off the balance sheet. And, essentially, a bank or an institution buys it from the Fed for cash, but they don't really get the cash because it's an offset from the other side of the balance sheet from when they actually printed the money to create the instrument.
Okay.
So, which I always talk about, it sounds like stuff kind of being made up out of thin air there, but in reality, it's not, because they're not then taking cash for it. They're just crediting that or debiting or crediting that one on the other side of the accounting balance sheet. So, but what it does do is then that money that comes from the bank isn't able to be lent out. So, to widget company number one, you don't have that to lend. So when widget company number one gets their loan from the bank, they leave the money in the bank. So then the bank kind of reloans that to somebody else again. So you get this kind of circular acceleration there. Well, it's the same. You're unwinding that when you start pulling cash out of monetary, out of the money supply. So that's the kind of thing that, could have effects on, say, one, inflation, two, all of a sudden it starts slowing down the external fringes of the economy where all the real speculation is. So it's something that's of concern to me, but the offset, and I know I talk a lot about the dollar and things, and but looking at the data that I was showed, it hasn't affected the exchange rates with Europe or the yen or anything. So even though we've been printing more dollars, the exchange rates are staying the same. So and the reason that is because we bank the world's savings. So we attract capital from all over the world every year to the tune of like trillions of dollars. Because, who wants to put $100 million in a bank in Europe right now, or UK, or anywhere else? You want big money in the US market because that's where it's the most protected, and the dollar will be the last thing standing. So I came out of these conversations with a bunch of people with a feeling that, hey, I don't know if there's a big correction coming in the US stock market.
Nice.
I don't really feel it now. I could be wrong, of course, but it made me feel good. And then, I look at the stuff this morning and I'm like, wow, okay. Everything's going up again. So not everything, but, it's at least going up somewhat.
Yeah.
So, as long as the U.S. market stays sideways or growing slow and, and then also GDP growth rate was 6.9%, I believe last year. Well, I think the fourth quarter run rate was 6.9. So that's almost 7% growth in our economy. So it's humming, and we're at like full employment. I mean, everything's chugging. So
we're full employment. Everybody has cash in the bank. Not everybody, obviously, but a lot more cash in the bank than previously. Look, I think at the end of the day, it's, whether or not Powell can fucking maneuver the levers enough that people don't freak out, and it's all emotional. So
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have some effects on it, but when foreign money comes to the U.S., I mean, where it goes is the stock market.
Yeah,
because it's the most liquid. It's got the highest returns. And a good example that I was given in one of my conversations was that, look, if you had $1 trillion or 100 million, a million, whatever, would you put it in a 30-year T-bill that's going to get you 3% a year? Or would you put it in ExxonMobil and get a 3% dividend?
Exactly.
And know that the stock market is inflation proof.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it's designed for. You don't get inflated in the stock market.
Yep.
So you are going, I mean, I'm not trying to say fossil fuels, this or that. I'm just picking that because it has a dividend and it's going to be going for 10 years, 30 years. So again, foreign money comes into equities. So any dips there, I mean, it's probably going to be bought up by anybody else coming. So, I mean, a lot of estimates of trillions of dollars a year flowing into the U.S. stock market from overseas. So I don't know. I mean, I know everybody's talking doom and gloom, and I see doom and gloom everywhere in the media and just the feeling there. But, when I walk outside, I don't feel doom and gloom. When I walk around and see the bars and restaurants packed and the grocery store has so much demand that, there's not food everywhere. I mean, it's like people are spending and consuming.
Yeah.
And, that's where we are. So I don't know. Again, I kind of feel positive about this now. I don't feel like the sky is falling. But that's just my opinion. I'm synthesizing a lot of data streams into this sort of thought, and it doesn't mean I'm right.
So I was listening to, as annoying as some of them are, the all-in guys are pretty good because you get a diversity of opinions.
Mm-hmm.
If the consensus from those guys now, who knows? They thought inflation was runaway and was never going to stop, and then suddenly they see that it was temporary. But the consensus was that there's still a high bit of risk for Powell over tweaking shit and causing a recession, like overacting, right? And not being measured in his response to changes. And then the other thing that they mentioned, which actually is, I think, very pertinent, is that the supply chain is still a fucking mess. Like, it is absolutely a mess. I mean, they said that GM did not ship a single electric car because they still can't get the chips that they need for their electric vehicles. So I think that's got a probably year more of impact on the economy. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Again, but I've touched on this with one person as well. And, like the LA port is at higher capacity now than it was even before the pandemic. So
yeah, I think this is more about the companies that
need chips to make shit.
They need the shit that they need, and the other people need the shit that they need to make the shit that they need, right? And then somewhere in the middle, there are going to be people that run out of money and die, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to have holes in the supply chain. Now, those are also opportunities. Somebody else will come in with more modern stuff and more infrastructure and more money and be able to, but it takes time. All that takes time. So anyway.
Well, what was interesting too, one final point on that, and we'll go to the next topic, is that, so when the stimulus funding goes out to, look, I'm going to use some words here. I'm not labeling people, but when you give stimulus money to the rich people, what do they do with it? Invest it. They don't spend it.
They do
when
not
you give money to people who don't
all
have
of
a lot of money,
people
they
are the ones
spend
that
it.
make the economy happen.
So when they spend it, they go spend it at Walmart or someplace like that. Well, what are they buying? Shit that's made in China for the most part.
Exactly.
And so that's what these container reports are so full of, is all of this, $2 plastic noodle holder or whatever. It's not stuff that people need. And it's, food and pork that comes from there. So in essence, everything's humming on all cylinders. So it has to go up. And then the final thing with Powell and the Fed is that, reason you don't want inflation or deflation, and you want to have a little bit of inflation, like 1 to 2%, because you don't want asset values going down, obviously. But it kind of gets to the point where, God, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, well, I'll come back to that later. Go ahead.
All right.
Next.
So you had a couple of links. Do you want to pull some up?
Yeah. I was looking at a couple of things that we didn't get to on Friday as well. Let's take a look at what was the one? Deep Dow I thought looked interesting. I'm just going to pull these up. Optimism. AstroSwap was the Cardano one, right?
Yeah.
Quartz. There was something I looked at the other day that I wanted to just show real quick that we didn't ever touch on. I'm going to pop it up and then I'll switch screens here.
Okay.
So let me just roll this over to this monitor. Okay. God damn, my vision is just going. Share. Sorry, guys. You'll be here one day, hopefully.
You got till about 40. If you have had no vision problems prior, most of you will have vision problems at 40.
Yeah. So I thought this was just interesting. I saw this can we take out this banner for a second? This way, a little more screen. Bitcoin quarterly returns since 2013. I just always find these interesting. And you look at the cycles and what happens, and Q1 last year, 103%, Q2 down, obviously, and then a good third quarter, and then Q4 has, been kind of tough. And then you look at like 2020 and you go all the way back to like 2017 and look at that year and that December 17 when everything peaked, and then, fighting through these cycles and then a little up. But, you look at all these things when the sky is falling. I mean, look at how many corrections there are, like over, 40% basically, 40% in the third quarter, 40%, 40%, 49%. I mean, up 168, 539, 128, 215. I mean, look, this is the natural cycle of this. It's booming and busting. And so I never, that's why I say when I see these big kind of, every news thing you see, I don't know if it's just my algorithm is so corrupted now by everything I look at, but it's like everything, Bitcoin falls 60% from all-time high. And I'm like, yeah, but then look at this. Bitcoin's up 92% on the year.
Exactly.
So, and if if you bought on July 15, you're up, what, 35, 40% on the year or something like that at this point, from 28 to wherever we are these days, 38, 28 to 38. You're still up like 33, 35%. So to me, the vast percentage of the market is up.
Yep.
But anybody who bought on November 9th is down, of course. So, you guys got to either buy more or just hang in. But, it is going to, if you look at this chart, it looks to me like this stuff keeps coming back. So,
yeah.
So I always think that's important to people to really understand, especially the newbies. And this is just because, after S&P 500, this is the next kind of thing I look at when I'm doing my top down stuff. But, these are big numbers. So again, I think it's just important everybody understands this. Now, there was something else I wanted to show. Let me just roll down. We were talking about Klima. And everybody saw that Arizona introduced a bill to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender.
Yep.
Texas and Florida are supposedly coming right behind this.
Yep.
And then into your thing, a big political action, a big PAC was launched, a crypto PAC, with huge money in it. Announced Friday the formation of a new political action committee.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. GMI PAC. Basically doing all the things that we, I guess they're going to spend, looks like 20 million in the 22 cycle.
Yeah, that's 2-bit idiot. I'm in their Discord group. It's this will probably end up being one of the most powerful ones. I wish they had just worked with HODL because they've already got the infrastructure, but I get it.
Well, you need multiple PACs too, because, of course no coordination allowed, but, you got to have people coming in at different points, because your max contribution is, I don't know what these days, $4,000, $3,000,
Yep.
2,500.
Yeah.
So if you have multiple PACs that can hit a candidate, then you can hit them up with like 40 grand instead of 4.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I think they're thinking about. This is like, look, Multicoin Capital, Masari, and Blockchain Capital are also backing the PAC. Skybridge is in there. The mooches play. So, again, more maturity in the space, more things happening.
Yep. So here, let me share my screen up. You done there?
Yeah, I was going to go. Well, the next one I was going to talk about was a little bit more in the conspiratorial thing, but about giving all the stable coins to the big banks. A lot of people are talking about
I saw that. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm done. You can switch.
Let's do some DeFi.
Okay.
All right. So can you see that screen? Can you guys read that on the right side? Is it too small?
That's a little small for me, man.
Can you see it now? Should be bigger.
Yeah, I could see.
Okay.
I could see some
Let me
tickers.
close Twitter. So see those tickers?
Yeah.
And about 590 more. See what those tickers stand for?
Yep.
Those are all coming to Spirit Swap. 600 synthetics to be traded, integrated from Decent into Spirit Swap.
Are you kidding me?
Not kidding you a bit.
So remember when Binance was doing like the Tesla stuff and I think one other one and then they stopped?
Yeah. You know why I'm fucking excited about this?
Tell me.
Because our MTF indicator kills on these
synthetics.
Yeah.
Because it can use the equity charts based on all the equity data.
Exactly.
Yeah. To get
so our mean reversion, I mean, the money I missed out on not actively integrating and automating on Tesla trades with our mean reversion indicator is just ridiculous. Anything with any kind of good level of volatility, but still a good stock is just blows up. But the other side of this is there are so many possibilities opened up now, right? It's not up yet, but as soon as it is, there's so much. Once we have, synthetics running through, there's just a lot of opportunities.
Well, Phantom was doing a lot of stuff with synthetics, like their FUSD. I mean, when I first started looking at it, it was all about the synthetics. Like you could come in and create synthetic instruments and things like that. So this must be the next evolution of what was going on early. I mean,
yeah. Well, this is coming to Phantom. It's on mainnet, BSC, and everything. But Spirit Swap's going to add decent synthetics to their platform, which is friggin' awesome. And these guys at Spirit Swap get it. They build what they think is important to the DAO and to the community and tokenization and trading and the core products. And then they're smart enough just to partner with everybody else who's building cool shit. So really, really fired up for this. I'm excited.
So this is so Spirit is partnering with them.
Is a protocol that's now available on these chains, right?
Yeah.
Polygon, Hiko, XDAI, BSC, Ethereum. It will now be integrated with Spirit Swap for Phantom.
Okay, I get it.
Got it? Yeah.
No, I thought you were saying Spirit was launching these, and that's why I was like,
well, Spirit will be launching these in their platform, but using the Decent protocol.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. So that's I'm very excited about this because, yeah.
Well, that's interesting because now you have a way to, it's not like there's a share backing each one of these synthetics that they're holding.
Right.
So you have a way now to create market cap. Well, not, I don't want to say market cap in the traditional sense, but the ability to play on that stock in these synths fractionally too, at low cost.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. It's good shit. So, let's see. I don't think I had anything else major today, Joe. I actually am slacking today because I just had so much shit going on. You know what I owe you.
Yeah. No, and I want you focused on that. I just want to see if there's one other thing I can just talk. There's a big article on MicroStrategy in Quartz, saying something like the biggest corporate holder of Bitcoin is not Square or Tesla. That's worth reading. AstroSwap, I think we talked about that, Cardano and their new DeFi DEX or something. I haven't looked at it or tried it, but anytime anything says Cardano, I'm always intrigued.
Yes.
To see what it really is. And then there was another one, DeepDAO. Launches a search engine to find financial and membership data for DAOs. So,
that sounds good.
Yeah, in Decrypt. Let's see if I'm
called DeepDAO.
DeepDAO, yeah, DeepDAO. The articles launches search engine to find membership data for DAOs, basically. So
nice.
Another analytic tool, it sounds like, which is pretty cool. And then something about LooksRare has reportedly generated $8 billion in Ethereum NFT wash trading. I didn't really get what that was about, but saying most of the sales on NFT marketplace LooksRare are illegitimate trades made to manipulate the price. is what this article is talking about. So I don't know if there's a token. I'm not familiar with Looks Rare. And then a good article in, the New Yorker magazine on DAOs, the promise of DAOs, the latest craze in crypto. So that'll be an 18-page article probably. So I haven't gotten to it yet. It's kind of like when I used to subscribe to the New Yorker, I would have like a stack of them to read this big right next to my stack of Economist magazines.
Yeah.
And of course, never get to them.
Yep.
But that's one to check out. And then I think that was
Eamon asked if you ever dove into Klima.
I'm in Klima, yes.
No, I think he means you said you were going to analyze it and take a look deeper into it.
Was it Klima or was there another one I was supposed to look at?
I don't know. You were talking carbon shit last week. I don't know. So the answer is no, Eamon.
Yeah, but there's a couple of I remember there's a couple of new carbon tokens out there that are working into partnership with Klima as well. I know Klima's launching their like Klima Pro or something like that for enterprises to make it more streamlined so that, when everybody wants to like go carbon neutral, all these big corporations, and they've got like 4 or 5 major, Fortune 50 types, it's such a pain in the ass to buy carbon credits because they got to go through a broker to go buy them and then another broker to sell them and this and that. And so Klima wants to be that whole platform for all of it. So
makes sense.
They're going to have like an enterprise front end that basically, I guess sits whomever does this stuff. It's the CFO's office or the CLO's office, but I don't know, maybe it's compliance. I don't know, but where they can facilitate all those actions. So I look at that as super positive.
Eamon said when I had to drop off the other day, you were starting to pull stuff up to discuss it.
Okay. Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
But that's the one. I mean, when I look at these sort of DAOs, OMI things, I mean, Klima's kind of at the top of my list right now.
Yeah.
Because they actually have a real mission. They already figured it out. It wasn't raise 700 million and figure out what to do next. They already know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they just have to execute, and they seem to be executed. They seem to have enough money to do it. It's in the right space because, climate's going to be huge, is huge, no matter which way you look at it. If you're going to be a big polluter and not give a shit, you got to go buy carbon credits.
Yeah.
So, I think it fits. So I do like it. I don't know how many I have anymore, but because I'm just staying away from looking at those things, just letting the numbers pile up and the rebases and then, waiting for the recoveries. But it's definitely one that I look at a lot.
Hey, Eamon, real quick, I'm going to ping you later on this afternoon. We've got the go-ahead from the attorney on the structure. We're just going to have to be a lot more members are going to have to be a lot more involved in the choosing process so Joe and I don't get sued. But we'll make it work, and I've kind of mapped out the process. But I'll get back to you this afternoon. We can set up the voting things and the agreement things because I've got the final version of that as well.
Cool. Look, and this is to me, I think that a lot of these rebases are going to keep going, and over time, no pun intended. It was a bad pun. And over the duration, you're going to have recovery of some type.
Yep.
So, those are the ones, a lot of these were the ones I threw like 500 in or $1,000 or something, nothing major. And now it's down, of course, but it's actually starting to almost get back to where I was just on the rebasing.
That's
so
awesome.
I figure if I just don't pay attention for a couple of months, there's any recovery in the rebase market, everybody's going to do really, really well. So I say that because, how can we not be at the bottom of the rebase space right now? So I think this is the optimal time for this.
Yeah.
But, as just a park it, kind of forget about it a little bit and focus on other things and see what happens. So I'm super excited about this still. But I do think that we have to sort of, kind of work on some strategies up too, Brad. There's other opportunities as well. So
absolutely
sort of grapple with that as maybe a diversification.
No, look, I mean,
or pure play. I don't know.
That's part of the voting process. So it'll be, here are the potential strategies, here are the options, here are the platforms and tokens, et cetera. And so it's just going to be more involved for people to vote, but they're going to have to vote. That's the only way we can make it qualify properly for an investment club and, keep the liability where it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. But, it'll be fun either way.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, folks. Thank you for listening. Sorry we didn't have a whole lot today, but we'll have more tomorrow. Hope everyone had a wonderful, fantastic weekend. I'm going to do some more analysis on the Wonderland thing eventually here. Joe,
after you finish your other project, right?
Joe, I'll get back to you after today on the
other
document thing that we're discussing.
Yeah, again, we talk all the time, but as I always say, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes.
Just throw out what it is.
I'm definitely not going for perfect. I'm still filling in the holes.
And then we'll
good news is all of you will eventually get to see this mysterious document. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We love you guys. Please subscribe, thumbs up, recommend, turn on the bell, but please review us on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. We appreciate it. Have a great, great Monday afternoon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you as always.
See you, Joe.